pathological ability not to be able to be truthful with folks. But all that being said, I mean, I hate to be cynical here, but I don't think either candidate really is great about telling the truth, and I think most voters already acknowledge that. So those who are deciding to vote this fall are those that are basically like, well, I got to vote, I want to do my duty, and I'm just got to try to pick the lesser of two evils. But I also think it's a sad state of affairs if we're really just at the end of the day now talking about, with however many days we have to go, I don't know, 50 days to go, that talking about health records and not talking about immigration and national security and the economy.
Well, it's and we can sort of touch on that, but of all the things she is guilty of, this one, I think, if you've got pneumonia, which, why wouldn't you get out in front of it early and say, I've got pneumonia, I'm under a doctor's care, everything's fine, we're going to take a couple days off, or what? Get out in front of it. That's smart politics. Why wouldn't they do that? And then, of course, they find themselves, she fainted or whatever at the 9/11 event, and all of a sudden now it's a big, giant conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I can see both sides of it. I mean, but number one, you would think that she and her team would be smarter than how they chose to handle it. But number two, I think it's also when you fall into this practice of just thinking that you're Teflon or immune to anything and that it'll go away or that no one will find out about something, then you always are going to default to that. Again, I'm no psychotherapist, but I just think we've seen that over the years with them, that they continue to go to the well and default with that type of strategy. It's not the right one, as you said, but it's what they default to. At the same time, too, you could also argue, well, hey, people are looking at both candidates for their age and their health, and obviously, the Trump and others have you try to bring attention to her health, and she, so if she gets the sniffles or gets pneumonia, she wants to try to power through it and not let people know she's sick. I mean, we've all done that to a certain degree when we've gone to work, or we don't want people to think that we're sick and we're trying to get through it. So, there's a lot of reason to be concerned about it, but there's also a lot of reason to be like, hey, can we get on to the debates and start talking about public policy and substantive issues, particularly in light of the fact that we have two of the most unpopular candidates ever to run for this position, and both choices suck, and we're going to have to, whoever's going to be there has got a lot of mess to clean up, and let's try to get whoever it is in there with the right people to support them in Congress or whomever in their administration, and start fixing some of these problems.
The only person, it seems, Trey Harden, who cannot criticize Hillary Clinton for her lack of transparency and for her shading of the truth is Donald Trump, because he refuses to release his taxes. He's now got stories out about how he set up a foundation, a charitable foundation, and paid himself back. And now the campaign's saying that he's paid millions of dollars to charity, but they have no proof of it.
Well, I think Donald Trump is pathological at a lot of things. So lying may be one of them, but I think he's got more mental illness even than Hillary Clinton does on that front. And a lot of it, I think, factors into that. It's just an example of how he is as a candidate in terms of how he probably is to staff and things like that. But it's just a my way or the highway type of thing. And I think that he gets elected, he's probably going to be taking us the closest the United States has ever been to a fascism or a dictatorship. I just think it's reality. No one knows where his politics are. I mean, conservatives hate him. The establishment hates him. And I think it's clear that those, including myself and many others, are probably going to be on the receiving end of IRS investigations and whatnot because we haven't said nice things about him during the election.
Trey, there's one thing he brought up which I thought was kind of interesting. A debate with no moderators. Could you imagine the two of them just at a table going back and forth?
I mean, it would be such entertainment. I think the debates are going to be such entertainment to begin with, even with a moderator. But yes, you're correct. I mean, to watch that would just be hilarious. I mean, it would be there's so many different analogies you could use on it. I mean, there's childish ones, and there's even there's probably WWE ones as well. But I think McGraw, I think he's genuinely scared and nervous and insecure about the debates because he knows he's going to get crushed on them from a policy standpoint, and he's worried about defaulting to the strategy he used in the Republican primary, which is to just kind of steal the thunder and not make it about policy and just talk about how horrible Hillary Clinton looks in her clothes, or how how she looks like she's got the sniffles, and try to steal the thunder from an entertainment standpoint. I think that's going to be a nervous defense mechanism he uses, but I think he's genuinely nervous about the debates because he doesn't know much about policy.
Trey Harden, ABC News political analyst. Well, your Nationals are still in first place, so you got something going for you.
I was at the game last night, and it looks good.
Gotta love you. Trey, have a good week. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, brother. Take care. Bye.